So how did you get involved? How did you get to hear about this?
The newspaper.
Okay, so you read
and
it.
And it's got me, hey? I was high as a kite when I read it. And when they said, do you want to go through the experience of loving yourself and embracing yourself? And it was just picked up the phone and emailed and phoned and left messages. And it was like, it was a calling for me, you know?
It was difficult to write that email when I wrote the email because I knew that this would be another journey of mine, you know? I've been already in the one institution. And it really helped me though, because I got to my tools. I'm now in recovery as well, and it's really helped me do whatever I need to do.
I've always wanted help like this. I've asked my family to help me, but they've just always, I must deal with my own problems, you know, though they've got the money to do it. So I'll just help myself. And if I must do it like this, so I do it.
That's awesome. So 28 days of...
Good luck and cheers. Going to get medicals.
Yeah. I tried to stop, I really tried to stop. Up into hell and back, to hell and back. 28 days to get my life back. 28 days to get back on track. I tried to stop, I really tried to stop. I've been to hell and back, to hell and back. 28 days to get my life back. 28 days to get back on track.
They did a body search on you?
They did a body search, full body search actually.
Were you happy about that?
Yes. Last time I want to expose myself. The admission process, strip search, you know, down to your undies, female doing that, you know. And I thought there's no male around, you know, so she just said, just hold on to your clockers. That was the term she used. And move them left, move them right, move them up, squat. I can't describe that feeling. It's just like, are you seriously going to do this to me now? But the way they go through your bags, I was taken back on, they search every part of every item of clothing, whatever. And if they feel that this is not necessary for you, then they throw it out, you know? Turn it around. I got that from Sweat now. We went to Open University.
You're not going to be able to wear it.
I'm not going to wear it.
It will be good, it will be good to burn.
Burn it?
Yes.
I'm on a campaign
to
decriminalize sex work. I had to just let go of that sweater, you know, so. But I'm fine with it. I mean, I wasn't going to wear it openly, you know. I would actually like to have worn it. Yeah.
Some people come with a little bag, not even as big as that.
Oh, okay. It's 28 days and it's winter. So I don't like being cold. That's hair extensions. Okay. Don't worry, it's 100% human hair. Straight from India. Hey, you have such a black woman's bag, really.
Nothing in here that's not supposed to be.
There's nothing there in contravention to your rules and regulations.
And if I do miss it, will you bring it back to me and tell me about it?
That's an irrelevant question, by the way.
We teach a program of spirituality. We don't do religion. So, are you practicing religion? No.
None of it. None of the above.
Spirituality?
All of the above.
Okay, now I'm getting short answers. Do you want me to rather keep quiet?
You're a free person, you know. Free expression is part and parcel of this constitution.
You will learn not to deflect your feelings with words.
So you're saying I'm using the words as armor?
Oh, you're going to be to fix it.
It's like doing a sound check in the sea to actually check your depths. So you use a sound, use a sound. There's all of this happening there. No, I think she's quite phenomenal. She's often wrong, but I'm going to tell her that.
Okay. Yeah. So you've got those drawers, those cupboards, those drawers, and then also you can use some of the drawers or whatever in there.
I'm very comfortable here.
Let's do this, okay?
Yes, I think I'm comfortable over here, yes.
Okay.
Okay, great. These are your keys.
Okay. Roland, sorry, Fahrenheit assigned the beds earlier, and you're in this room.
Okay.
Okay. with Armien, so you're gonna have to like
Oh, it's perfect.
beg him for some cupboard space.
First come, first serve.
I try to not to be judgmental about anything within my own mind, because it's not about them, it's about me in any case. First person I met was Armien, and I could see a mile of this guy. He's gay, but he's not only gay, he's also peacock gay, which is sort of a different sort of gay. And a lot of guys is gay, they don't have that peacockiness about them. He sort of prances about, you know, and does this with his feathers, you know, and so on. And then I discovered he's also going to be my roommate. But it was quite fun. So I was sort of heckling him a bit, you know, and going on with him about this, saying to him, you know, what do you do? Are you sort of behind or in front and stuff like that? And we had amazing laughs. And it was fun, you know, listening to him. I haven't been in a room with a man for a long time. That's cool.
What does that mean?
Huh?
Have you ever wanted to commit suicide?
Not recently.
Okay, but in the past?
Yeah, in the past, yeah.
And how long ago?
It was like when my father died, it was 2002.
How old were you?
I was 15.
And are you straight or gay?
Do we have to film that part?
What does my sexual orientation has to do with anything right now, and why does it have to go on a form to indicate that, okay, Mr. Armien Abrams is gay?
Sexuality is really, really fundamental to identity. Yeah. And we're working strongly with identity and attachment and belonging, so for us it's key. It's not a filter, it's an inclusion.
Okay, Armien's gay, okay, gay, sensitive, you know, I think that route. I think they might judge me or they might handle me differently. So that's the reason why I don't agree.
So on page 80, there's an orientation assignment for you to fill out. It's got things about who knows that you're here, some stuff about yourselves which will help us just get an impression of you. Page 71, you'll see a whole lot of blank pages. You're going to be writing your life story.
Just not enough space.
Then you can ask for more paper.
Serious?
Serious.
Okay.
Serious.
You have to ask that. No, I've got a life history that take a book.
I have been on my chest to write more. Okay, these pages are enough.
Who's our counsellor?
And we don't know yet. We don't know yet. Okay, that's good. I hope it's not you. I think she's my food buddy, and she's never encountered anybody with an eating disorder, so she really doesn't understand it.
I just need to follow her whenever she goes to the toilet, and, you know, if it means that I'm 20 minutes late for a lecture, that's that.
I've never actually met anybody who actually used drugs for 28 years, so I also can't really relate, you know?
This morning I was very resistant, but now I understand.
Okay. 49.5. Have you ever been admitted to a psychiatric? Okay, where?
In Johannesburg General Hospital.
For what?
Depression.
And you said you'd been to Tara. And that was for?
Eating.
And then how were you afterwards, and how long were you?
I was worse.
You were worse? Oh, okay.
I blew out last night at home. I just blew out of control and was shouting and screaming at him.
Is he supportive of you coming here?
Yes,
okay.
But, you know, I expected him to come home and be all dramatic that I'm leaving the next day, and he wasn't dramatic enough for me. Okay. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, he was dealing with it in his own way.
Sure, of course.
I mean, at 1:30 in the morning, he woke me up and he told me, it's just... He started crying and he just said he's going to miss me and he's scared that I'm not going to want to come home, you know?
Okay.
So it's just that relationship dynamics.
Okay. A lot of the stuff we do here is life skills. Part of that obviously is going to be the substance. But it also sounds like you have some unhealthy ideas about your relationship and your role in the relationship which are holding you back. And you'll have the chance to explore those, and we'll work through things slowly. For the first few days while you're in the detox phase, the nursing staff will make sure that you're looked after. If you have any problems, you go to them.
Can I ask you one thing?
Yes.
Okay, because I was in form school and they put you up in lockups and that.
Did I lock up here?
Please don't put me in that detox place.
Okay, why do you say that?
No, seriously, I've got this thing, I've been in jail, I don't like...
Okay. The detox actually has an open door, and it's easier to come in and out and do your own thing. So don't be scared of the detox.
That frightened me because of my years of being institutionalized. That is one thing I hate, being is in a closed space, but it wasn't actually, it was very relaxing, it was very calm, and it was very nice, very comfortable. So I've got used to that, yeah.
To hell and back.
Kom besef nou is dat ek 'n probleem het met die dagroker en die drank en die gambling. Die moeilikste was die alcohol, maar ek het nou die alcohol gelos nou vir die afgelope 3 maande.
Wat is die minste wat jy op 'n dag gedrink het?
5 ure.
5 quarts?
Ja.
Of 5?
5 quarts.
5 quarts. En die meeste?
Wauw. Die meeste is baie, ek kan het beskryf.
Kaste vol?
Kaste vol, ja.
Anything that you're concerned about? Anything you're worried about?
Yeah, I am concerned about. I've recently went for an HIV test again, and I'm being negative. But I mean, I always seem to. I've recently gone out last weekend, and yeah,
Engaged in risky behavior.
Very risky behavior. I went inside the hot house. I was thinking, what are these people doing? They're throwing me inside a den with men and hot guys and towels. So I walked in, my idea was to get some footage inside, and not even 5 minutes I'm deciding already, whoa, I've never had this for a while. And I just did what I was supposed to do, just take the camera around, and then when I saw these people watching me and I could see some contact within the first 5 minutes, I'm thinking to hell with the GoPro cam. Now you remember I've oiled myself up just before that. Oiled myself well, was well prepared, I knew exactly what I was doing already at the time from home. So when I got there, it was just a slip and slide. It was easy, it was so free and so reckless at the same time. And it was such a rush, and it was such a cool rush as well. But afterwards, there's that feeling of, why did I do it, you know? I'm not... Yeah, it's I don't know why I do this to myself.
When you have the disease of addiction, your brain is the part that is actually ill. And that disease, the symptoms come out in our behavior. Normal people have a problem, they do this, and they move on. Addicts do this, and they use. Can't cope, no coping mechanisms. Your first work is to understand that when you leave here in 28 days' time, you are not cured. The idea of rehab is to teach you how to maintain your addiction. Life happens, but it's my reaction to what happens that's going to make the difference to my day. Recovery gives you the ability to pause. And that pause is the difference between life and death.
Have you experienced anything that's been difficult for you?
It was a bit of a shock knowing that when I came here that no phone calls for 5 days and no visits for the first week.
Why is that difficult for you?
For my husband, it's like being disconnected from the one person that needs you. And you always need to feel needed in your life.
I wonder if you could say, I need to feel needed, not you.
Obviously, I don't like me, so I have difficulty going to me, which is why I'm here, to learn how to go to me.
That's the greatest gift you can give your husband right now, is to heal yourself, so that when you get to see him, when you get to be with him, he's going to be with a whole human being.
Well, I've just learned that it's basically my codependency. I thrive on the fact that my husband needs me, and that is what makes me feel alive, by the fact that somebody needs me, and that is what diverts me from ever going out to the real issues of myself. It's hard, but I'm trying to take that step.
I come to share my experience as a recovering alcoholic. I'm a retired Anglican priest, and I'm in my 14th year of recovery. What I like about one of the steps of the recovery program was made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. And you know, that was a wonderful turning point for me. I said, you know, most of my faith is second-hand. I see every faith community as providing a roadmap for the journey from birth to death. And our religions are there to help us. And there's nothing wrong with our roadmaps, but they're not God.
There's a school of thought that says that addiction is a spiritual disease. And a lot of people who have heard that identify strongly. They explain they have this hole in the soul. So what the 12-step process offers them is an opportunity to fill that hole in the soul with a higher power, with spirituality, as opposed to using drugs or other acting out behavior to sort of fill that gap.
On a hot summer's day, my body says I'm thirsty. It does. My mind says, thirst, a gin and tonic. And I only said one. Not a bad idea. I mean, what's wrong with a gin and tonic? Nothing.
A lot of addicts will talk about feeling fragmented. They don't feel a part of, and spirituality sort of takes care of all that. It makes you feel sort of at one with the universe and at peace with yourself. And why it works, you know, who knows? It just does.
And I found that I actually am in control. And it's a power, higher power. And if that's what I mean by God, go for it.
He's actually just shown me the roadmap, and it's beautiful. And that, I tell you something, since I've been here now, since yesterday, I think this facility should really give him an amazing accolade, because of him, I think all of us will probably stick through the whole program.
Do you use substances apart from cocaine?
No.
What happens when you stop using? What happens to you? Irritable, tired, emotional?
I'm irritable now.
Yeah? But you haven't used for a while, hey?
Since Saturday morning, yeah.
Okay. Did you ever have any difficulties at school when you were growing up? Were you told ever that you had learning problems or ADHD or hearing?
I was an
or
A
visual?
student, prodigy child, man. I won every prize that they came up on board.
What was your attitude like towards school? How did you feel about it?
It's a lot of bullshit.
In terms of going to live with your grandparents, would you say that that was a form of abandonment by your parents?
I didn't go to live with them. I was there when I was born. I was born in that house. And she, because of economic reasons, she had to go and nurse in another town. Sure. It's not the same as abandonment.
Okay.
She never abandoned me.
Have you ever been a perpetrator of abuse?
Verbally, many times.
Yes. In what way?
Just through sheer eloquence, you know. People hated when I always talk to them and I had no clue what I'm talking about.
We've been shaped by parents. We've been shaped in schools. We've been shaped by friends. We've been shaped on the rugby field or playing tennis. We might have had a father who loved us dearly, or we might have had a father who was absent. And all of that went to form who we are. But who am I beyond that? If I go off by myself now and walk on the beach and have an ice cream, who am I? Who am I thinking of? What am I doing? What relationship do I have with myself? And a lot of abuse and a lot of addictions comes out of the pain and the struggle of trying to find ourselves in a context where we're always trying to be something for somebody else.
How do you actually handle that outside relationship when you're in your home environment? I mean, you can't just always walk away, or you can't just tell that person to shut up, or it doesn't work that way. What do you do?
I think it's important to realize that there comes a point where we say, I can't actually receive that. Or I don't want to receive that because it actually is negative, it's inappropriate, and it actually puts me down rather than builds me up.
God is telling me you are worth something, and I totally believe it. But that scratching keeps on opening up the wound.
If the person doesn't want to hear that the way they're talking is destructive, then you have to do something a bit more dramatic. And I think in your own particular context, you need to work out, is this going to change or not? And sometimes, if the situation is intolerable, you have to actually say, I can't live like that.
Well, that's what I believe this month will enable me to do.
Yeah.
Whenever I just want to do something with my life, I want to change my life. And then there's this something which happened to me in my past when I was still a small boy. It always comes up, and it kind of makes it hard for me to sometimes just be good and just to be myself. And I just sometimes feel like
you're not worth it.
I'm not worth living, and you know. And where I'm from, like a community where I'm from, I'm like, everyone is just judgmental and they're expecting so much from me.
Yeah. How would you describe your cultural or ethnic background?
You're close in color, yeah. I actually did my initiation in 2007.
How do you think your culture has influenced you as a person?
In my culture, real men don't cry.
Mm-hmm.
And I've made up my mind. And basically, I don't care.
You've made up your mind to do what?
To change my life. And I don't care whether my culture feels offended.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is my father's culture anyway, and what's the use of obeying the culture like when my father abandoned me?
What do you have to accomplish while you're in treatment?
I basically also want to change my way of thinking. Because sometimes I get very evil thoughts, scary thoughts.
About?
Sometimes, no.
To hell and back.
You know, I went into this book. There's like emotions. I don't know what page it is.
All those pages, yeah.
And I ticked 2. I took suspicious. I'm very suspicious of you, Bru. I have to tell you that.
Why are you suspicious about me?
Because
Why?
I don't know what is your agenda. You kind of like know it all, you know, like hey, yeah, we know we used to do this prayer and it used to be great, and oh, I've done this step and I've done that step, and you know, and so it's like. Yeah, so that is my feeling. It's probably not right. Okay. And then secondly,
Helen, our loudness, het my net uitgeskakel want sy hou van mense afswitch.
I love interacting with Hector. He doesn't say much, which is what I like, because I'm also like most of the time in thought like, oh, when is my next meal and whatever, you know.
I feel intimidated by her sometimes, you know, and I want to back off. I really want to back off.
you say you are intimidated by me. I'm suspicious of you. And I still need to work with that feeling. I don't know why.
No, it's fine. Yeah. I have my defense mechanism. I have my wall going up always, and I tighten myself up and I go into isolation. Now, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to voice myself. When I was young, I had never had a voice.
Yeah, you're
now
voicing.
I
you are everywhere voicing.
You must remember, I was thrown with stones, I was beaten up, thrown in trash cans. I could not even defend myself.
So, I don't understand.
Now.
So now it's like...
Get over yourself, man.
So now I don't really understand, like, you know, his voicing. I'm misinterpreting it as he wants to control and he wants to be shine and he wants to be the star. He wants to be in the limelight.
Ellen, he doesn't. That's exactly what you see in me, I see in you.
I thought I was like, wow, you know? But I was wow, I think, because I was trying to create a facade. And now that this facade is coming down, people are telling me I'm aggressive. People are telling me I'm arrogant. And I'm like, what are they talking about? Do they know Pindile? Everybody loves me. You know what I mean?
Welcome. I'm going to show you some drumming, traditional African drumming. First note is a bass with a flat end in the middle. It's got to sound like one drum. It's got to sound like one drum all together. There we go.
I'm very artistic and very creative, and doing that just really gets all your frustrations out and your anger, and you can learn a couple of beats, you know, I love it.
I'm going to play a pattern and you guys have got to copy me.
The drumming was absolutely amazing. To get to that rhythm and to be able to bang that thing. It's a bit of a frustration release, eh? I know, I whacked my drums.
My ritme is patheties. Ek het glad nie gedink ek gaan kan bybly nie. Ek was 'n bietjie vreesbevange daarvoor. Maar ek het dit geweldig geniet. Ja, ek kan hom nou sê ek kan 'n drum speel.
We're going to rumble. And then I'm going to count you down. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Die moment toe ek slaat by drumme en toe begin ek 'n ritme voel in my lewe in my hart, en Zoals een vliegtuig weggaan, hij begint stadig en dan gaat hij op en ze ver in de lucht. En voor mij is het zijn gevoel.
It's a holistic program. That's why we have all these different aspects addressing the human being, relationships, and teaching them how to live a full and productive life.
I had found my own apartment and I had 2 law firms who had taken up my case to try and track my husband, which they tracked him in Ghana. We wrote a letter to him saying that we would like him to give us access of my child. And then he wrote a letter. That letter broke me. I remember specifically the one paragraph said that he doesn't see the reason why the child should see a mother that she doesn't remember. He's always had an email address that he's had.
Ellen, can I stop you? Yeah. Can we just not talk about him or the child for a little while? Talk to us about your eating disorder and what you were going through in that regard. As a result of what was happening, I get that, but let's just focus on that just for the purpose of this group.
That's what I'm focusing on. I relapsed with my eating because my child was taken out of the country.
So let's talk
That's
about
why
the
I ended up in
relapse.
hospital.
Okay, let's talk about the relapse.
Yes, and after that, I earned my money. I had all the support. The eating was getting out of control. I decided I was going to leave Joburg. The only place that I remember that I was ever happy was in Cape Town, and I actually came down here to actually have my one last big party and just really commit suicide. That's what I came here to do.
The food has been taken away as a substitute to self-medicate me. And I think the reason I was easy to get on with and be around is because I could still indulge in my addiction. And now that that's stripped away, I have to come out. And I don't think I'm ready for me. I'm not really liking me coming out now.
Ek weet mense praat van cravings en so aan. Ek dink nie ek ervaar regtig 'n craving nie. My ma het baie lekker gekook en ek het dit geëet. En niemand het ooit vir my gesê nee, jy eet te veel of jy moenie so baie eet of wat nie. Ek het wel natuurlik as ek nou na iemand soos Ellen sal kyk en natuurlik veral as ek nie weet wat haar omstandighede is nie, dan sal ek dink, "Jog, ek wens ek was so skraal, jy weet."
The beginning, it was nice to get those compliments because I used to exercise, I used to eat healthy, and once I found out there was another way, I took the easy way out. So when people would compliment me, I knew that what I was doing to get this, if only they knew, the pain that I was feeling, when it was really, really, really bad, I would actually not even be able to sleep. I would go and do my business in the toilet and then I would immediately be hungry. And that hunger will be like the hunger that I've never felt before. I'm constantly thinking about food.
You dream about food?
No, never. No, I no. But I can understand that you do, that,
Yeah, because I deprive myself of it. Yeah.
You see, that's my problem. I don't deprive myself of anything.
But
if I feel like having it, I have it.
I envy you in the sense that you can keep it.
But I'm sitting with the negative effects of not depriving myself.
Remember our initial interview that we had? I asked you that I'm afraid of what I've done to my body. And I'm afraid of actually starting to eat properly on my own because I don't know what's going to happen to me. And now that is coming to play. It's like I don't really know what's happening, so I need somebody to tell me, if you would retaining water, should you be drinking more water? What foods should I cut out not to actually retain water? Am I really retaining
all
water?
That lovely control. Let's just take it back.
There you go again with this word control.
Why don't you just try? Just try.
Just trust in the process. Today, I said, okay, I'm not going to have any bread because we had bread last night for dinner, but then I found myself having 2 slices of bread. I don't know, it's like I'm on autopilot, I ate the cereal, I was happy, I was full, and then I was just walking and I was only going to get 1 piece of toast. I ended up getting 2 pieces of toast. I can't purge. Oh yeah, I can't purge it.
That's definitely for sure. Yeah.
And have you managed to sneak a purge in since you've been here?
No. I'm feeling bloated, big. I've thought about it. I've thought about it many, many, many times. And I've actually found myself in the loo, like saying, okay. And I just look at my face. It's just so swollen because my glands are swollen because of... And also I think, like, where am I going to go with my life? Where am I going to go? You know, if I can't do this, where am I going to go?
I like the snacks that they give us, the fruit, etc. And it's just nice. I mean, I feel good about myself. For the first time in a very long time, I've only eaten healthy food, and I'm looking forward to supper.
To hell and back.
We are here to witness Roland's life story. Roland, when you're ready.
I grew up in a township outside Plettenberg Bay and was reared by my grandparents because I was born out of wedlock. I had contact with my biological parents, but it became more and more distant, and I regarded my grandparents as my actual parents. After matric, I enrolled at UWC for a BSc. During orientation, I changed courses because an amazing woman virtually induced me to change courses so I could be with her. One day, her dad came around there to the race and he said to me, could I please come with him? So I thought we were going to go through to their house, and we didn't. We went straight through to Grooteskier. When we got there to the hospital, I had to walk down this passage. It was probably the longest walk that I've ever done, and when I got in there, she was in bed, and she told me she was suffering from leukemia. So I stayed for a few hours of sitting there with her. And at 7:45 that evening, she died while I was sitting there next to her. So subsequent to that, I would always look for somebody who reminded me slightly of her, and so on. Because I was pretty good at computer systems and stuff like that. I started the consulting business. The business did very well, and I earned a lot of money. It was not uncommon for me to take home around 120 Gs a month. And in a short while thereafter, married a lovely girl, 19 years my junior. We were together for 5 years, and a lovely girl was born out from this union. She had no idea that I was using coke or gambling. I thought that I could stop at any time. And as destiny would have it and fate would have it, I lost everything. I miss my daughter, I hang up a lot, and she misses me too.
Lots of abandonment issues. So if you look at where you come from, grandmother reared you, abandonment. That was your family, no mother. And then Stephanie. In every woman, a little bit of Stephanie. See if you can relate Stephanie back to mother as well. And Roland needs to start loving Roland's self, not talking to Roland as though Roland is speaking to a professor or something. Change the dialogue. But well done. Okay, thank you.
Things are just falling into place, and it's amazing. Really, really amazing. And I had a bit of a guilt complex about my daughter and the divorce and stuff like that, a hectic guilt complex. And now I don't feel like that any longer. I don't feel that any longer. And because of them, you know, basically clearing it up for me, in a sense, sort of opening that window for me.
I was born in the United States of America. Came to South Africa with my parents at 6 months old. A few months later, my biological father, who was an addict drug dealer, abandoned my mother and I and left us homeless. My first memories of life are my mom not being around. She used to drink and party a lot. I remember being left alone in the flat at home, sometimes for the whole weekend, or neighbors would take me in and look after me. When my mother would come home drunk at night, they would put the music on, dance and drink, and she would wake me up and make me dance with her. Then the crying stage would come, and I would have to comfort her. I would tell her everything will be okay. I would put my arms around her and hug her. My mother had many men in her life. They would come home with her, have sex whole night, sometimes even when I was sleeping in the bed, because we only had one bed. I remember I would go to school without a lunchbox and was one day caught stealing food out of somebody's lunchbox. I got such a bad hiding. At that time, I did my first ballet concert, and no one was there to watch me.
I used to love dancing. When I was 7, she had another boyfriend, Brian. I absolutely adored him. He taught me to swim, ice skate, and bought me my first Barbie with legs that could bend. And I'd actually got to stay at the same school for more than a year. But then again, I was sent to boarding school. But that didn't last too long. It was a horrible school, cold and very far away from home. I got caught stealing lip gloss from a chemist, so I had to come back home. At age 8, my mum and dad had friends, someone we socialized with. He was a paedophile, but he was such an affectionate man, great with kids, had a house with a swimming pool, and gave me lots of attention whenever we were in their company. And as the time went on, it got more sexual, as in oral sex and then sex. In the swimming pool, he would put his hands up in my costume while we were swimming, and all the people are, sitting around. The real problem started at standard 6. I got sent to boarding school again, and then started experimenting with alcohol and dacha. I loved getting high. I also started having sex, and I was once again sent away from home and placed into industrial school. That was the last time I ever had home. At the school, I befriended a girl called Ashley, and when she ran away, I decided to run away and go and find her. She took me with her to a merchant in Woodstock, and that was the first time I smoked my first button. After that, I was introduced to prostitution. At some stage, crack came into the scene, and when I had my first hit, that was my ultimate. I was high when I saw the ad in the paper. So I sent an email, and I was quite persistent because I've known for years that I'm an addict. That is why I took this opportunity to sort out my own problems.
I grew up close to that boarding school that you were in.
Yes.
I would see the girls in church on Sunday, and I would feel so sorry for you. And that's what I mean, I can relate to it, that I was so fortunate and that you were so left behind. And I feel very sorry for you, but I believe you're on the right track now, and I believe you can become a different person.
Thank you, Jacques.
My pleasure.
Sure. That opened up a lot of things for me too, because I haven't gone through all that experiences, but I was in a sense also abandoned as a baby. And it really opened it up for me. And so I am so sorry to hear the stuff that happened to you. It's really, really freaked me out quite a bit.
I think groups are very important because they, firstly, they see themselves in relation to other people. They really get to see, this is me when there's people around me. This is how I operate. This is how I think and feel, which is very important. Then there's also the sense of community, of being together, of having a common problem and finding a common solution. So there's this sense of community, camaraderie. It's beautiful for them because addicts in active addiction are very isolated. And for them to feel part of and to experience being accepted by a group of their peers is quite powerful.
To hell and back.
My name is Hector Karels. I was born on the 31st of August, 1987. My father never played his role in my life as a father, and I cannot remember a single moment which I have spent with my mother due to the fact that she left me and my brother Antonio with my grandmother when I was only 3 years of age. When I was in grade 4 in 1997, something awful happened to me. This is the year when my mother came back from Johannesburg. I felt abandoned and unloved. And what made me even angrier was the fact that she came back with 2 children. I felt very jealous at them because my mother had taken full responsibility of taking care of them. Later that year, my stepfather's friend started touching me. He began telling me that it was normal for adults to touch kids, and he made me believe that he continually had sex with me until the age of 16. continually had sex with me until the age of 16. When he later got arrested, I felt sad for the fact that he was arrested, not for sexually abusing me though, but I now had no one to make me feel good about myself. By this age of 16, I was long already involved in alcohol and dacha, because my father had died that very same year of 2002. I did not know what to do because my father had died and the man I loved was in jail. I was angry at my father for not playing his scene in my life. I felt angry at him because he did not teach me out the route to manhood and how to be a good man. In 2004, I became actively involved in youth programs in my community. People looked up to me, young and old. I became one of the lead singers at church, and I used the church as a camouflage to hide my problems. I kept all that hurt and suffering inside me until recently, in 2009, when my drinking and gambling became worse, when Sharon called me to tell me I will be part of the program, and I told my family about my addictions and my sexual orientation. They were very disappointed, not for the fact that I'm an addict or that I'm gay, but for the fact that I have not told them about my addictions and my sexual orientations. But above all, I have been staying off the bottle for past 3 months. The last time I gambled was on the 31st of July 2012. My biggest dream is to work with young people who go through the same problems as I am. I want to show them that there are ways to deal with their problems, and there are people who are willing to help them.
Firstly, I want to say that you write so beautifully. You have such a way with words that it means that you're such an amazing, gentle soul, that you have no hatefulness or hardness in you, and I commend you for that.
Ita, your process is going to be long, and it's going to be painful. Your work, however, is to separate the trauma from the addiction, because we are ultimately responsible for using, no matter what the reasons are. And I promise you, you stay clean, and you will heal.
This is for you, Hector.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Peace.
I feel I can get attached to him at his hip. We bonded today and we've both experienced a very similar experience in our childhood, and it was just amazing to know that I'm not alone here in that.
Okay, so we're breathing in, out, breathing in, breathing out. Your chest should rise, your ribs should expand. Close your eyes, go inside, it's an inner program. Breathe in, breathe out. Nothing expected of you. You can't do it wrong.
At first I was very skeptical about it, but the music really triggered my emotions, and I was visualizing a lot more. There was this door that I visualized, and then it said pain, and other one popped up again, another door, and it said serene, and I just didn't want to go through the pain door, but I guess my mind tricked me. And through that dimension I found my family, I found my dad in the distance as well, and I just wanted to reach out to my dad, but he was fading away a lot more. He shut the door, and at that moment I felt rejected at that very moment.
Oh, go there, go there, go there. It's a safe place to go. It's a safe place to go. Go to the pain.
But my family was around me and they embraced me, and there was a loved one. He came up to me and he held me, and it was incredible.
Letting go. Let it go. Don't need this shit in your lives. Let it go.
Er was een gevoel wat opgekomen bij mij. Ik heb het bij elkaar gepakt en een structuur van een mens gevormd. En daar was een rode deur. Hierdie mens heeft de deur opgemaakt en ingegaan en een jenning en melk gedekt. En ik kon voelen in mijn hart, die woord vergeven in mijn hart in het begin.
Lift it and send it away. Lift it. Send it away.
Ik geloof, ik heb Auto vergeven, ik heb mijn pa vergeven voor zijn rol wat in gespeeld heeft. En ik heb die mannetje wat mij gemolesteerd heeft ook vergeven. Zo, ik is vrij.
En wat van jezelf?
Ik heb mezelf definitief vergeven.
That gave me goosebumps. It was the first time that I was actually able to get in touch with me, to say, hello, Pindile, Ellen Mabona, are you still there? Are you still alive? It's like a rebirth. And it made me get in touch with my body.
Yes, yes.
And I cried because of the damage that I had been doing to it. And I made a promise to it that I'm not going to abuse it anymore if I can help it.
Yes. Breathe your cat. See? Somebody else loves you too. Yes. Yes. Because she sees how beautiful you are.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Peace.